Oh yeah.
Thank you. I'm enjoying the music way too much. Aloha, everybody. Welcome to the Cafe Gallery. It is great to see everybody here. Hi. I felt like talking in stereo, so I have both the mics here. Hi. Oh, you know, I'll bet I know why everybody's all crazy right now, and that's because a Lollapalooza is going on, so traffic is a pain. Well, you know, we've got phenomenal music right here, and I want to thank Gary so much for coming here. I hope you... Yay! Gary!
It's not Lollapalooza. We're competing with Merle Haggard over at the theater over here on Milwaukee.
Really? Really?
Merle's got the big draw.
Are we really competing with Merle Haggard? Really?
How do you compete with Merle Haggard?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, before I do anything, I want to say thank you all for coming for this phenomenal feature from Newman from Newark himself, Charlie Newman. Yeah! Since he always says Newman from Newark, I had to wear my Illinois shirt, so it said something other than New York, or Newark, New Jersey. Anyway, I thought, and I think there might be more people coming in for the open mic, hello, but I want to thank Gary for coming up with the music for a version of a song that you guys have heard so many times, but this will be fascinating to hear, you guys. Original piano music for the poem turned into a song, Made Any Difference. So I'm at my bar, my favorite hangout, and I just overheard from people talking about another guy who's always here. In the past few months has had a few strokes. This is just grapevine, I just heard snippets, but I need to see him put in my 2 cents. He went out for a smoke, and even though I don't, I walked up to him after he lit up. I reached my hand out toward his cigarette. He offered me a new one, but I wanted his. Then holding a smoke, I told him that I heard. I spoke of his wife, they asked about his kids, and I don't really want to get on a high horse here, but we care for him, we want him happy. He said I was right, he'll take some time off. Then holding his smoke, he said that he should quit. Handed me the smoke and then walked away. no, you're awesome, Gary. That was phenomenal. I get all giddy. This is crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I love being able to, who am I going to call up? You know, because I want to know the status of a future open mic location. I'm going to call this man first, if he's around. I can't see him. Is Patrick around? Patrick Hurley? Are you here? Is my guy here?
You must have just walked outside.
Oh, of course, she's Louise. You know, I'm calling him up. You know, all right. All right, I'm having a brag on pig people. All right, because I never see this man. I'm going to call you up first, Paul Ryan. Get on up here, Paul. Come on up here. And for anybody who is not familiar with this place, we've got microphones set up and we've got cameras set up. If you are cool with being at the open mic for a recording, we might make that a podcast as well. If you hate it, I'll knock you out because you all suck, but that option is available for anybody who wants to be on video. In case anybody, I thought I'd let you know in case you didn't know. Yeah, so thank you. Hi. Hi.
Come, starling, speckle-headed stranger, come into the breast of my sky. Fall in your flying just once so that my heart can touch you. Sly starling, nester in my house. I hear you screeching when I water the beets, but your children hop too close to me. Your children I'll never see again. Fly, starling, the summer grows everything but time. The old skies grow new skies. Your screeching calls their songs together. Yours are the clouds and sky and song. My starling, inside my body is a body the same color as yours. My starling with wings the same size as yours. My America is dead, the one I grew up with. I've been in mourning for a long time. And if life is not art, then life is not life. That's attributed to Nero, who sang as Rome burned. And this is from a comment on a holiday in Cambodia. It's a cool song, but misleading. Nobody ever chanted Pol Pot except Jello Biafra. The name of the Cambodian leader was kept secret. Angkar was the ruler then. Angkar means organization. Pol Pot is a nom de guerre derived from political potentate. Pol Pot's real name was Salah Sar. He was trained as a teacher. His sister was a concubine in the royal palace at Cambo. Now people go to Pol Pot's cremation site to pray for lottery numbers. That's from Pleduk 68, 2 months ago on YouTube. I drew some lines on the ground. It became a broad pair of shoulders. And then a head, who was a house, whose mouth was open, whose mouth was a door, slapping at the breeze. I poured out the black of my shadow and painted him a suit and tie. But his door kept flapping and flapping, saying nothing. Somebody said some policeman cut out his tongue. And the wind played like a naughty child up in the rooms of his house. Broke his eyes for nothing because nothing else was going to happen. He was just big-shouldered, blind and dumb. He couldn't hear me. He couldn't taste me. He was just big and blind and dumb. So I made a fire beast out of paper towel boxes, and I lit it up and it jumped like a crazy dog. I drove the fire beast up his walk, and it yapped at me and snapped at me, and I batted at it with my hands, and I drove it up his steps. The fire dog was howling at me. I made the fire dog go into his house. I batted at it. I howled at it. I trapped the fire dog up into his curtains. I cut and ran. I saw hell out of his mouth. I turned once and saw in the fire he grew new tongues, and that they were made of fire. And in the fire he smoked and grew new eyes. In the fire he woke and rose. He looked at me. He screamed. He shouted my name. He saw me through the fire running. He saw me and he sang with the tongues of his fire. He cried for me. Come back, he cried. Come back. Come back, you who drew me. Come back, you who drew my shoulders. Come back, who painted my suit. Come back, who poured your shadow for me. Come back into the fire. You running. Come back into the fire. Code of a fall. Sputter notch, flicker gas, break beat, something other than pictures making light, desperate for information, for the tangle, for the mind's bushes at the front of the yard. Nothing but her could walk that way. I mean, she curves that way like she could code a suicide falling. Before she got to the door, something like, how's it going? And I'm gone, and you're gone, and she's gone. How about that? The speed of falling. We need to know. We need to know not how we crashed, but how we got here, how we broke. How fast was that? The code of a fall, the sputter, notch, flicker gasp, falling, reaching out, breaking, how she curves through that. That's something. Learning how to fall out of a speeding car. You want to bounce. You want to tuck and roll. You want to keep rolling.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was awesome. And now I have microphones and stereo. I want to talk on this. Sorry. New toys I'm playing, sorry. This one? Well, I don't usually use two microphones. I can use this one if I so choose. Or I can use this one, but it's like, look, whichever one you so, whatever height, whatever you want, it's there for you. And because the other open mic host has finally decided to show up, and I'd like to know where it might be in a couple of weeks, because I don't know anything about the location of Ruffled Feathers. Patrick Hurley, please get on up here and read for us, my love. And you know, because we've got a phenomenal piano player, and I'm sure you're going to take him up on that offer. If anybody wants to have music behind them while they read, I'm sure he'd be more than thrilled to play.
That's what John says, right? Actually, he doesn't. He just smiles. No, I don't have a venue yet. As talking to someone earlier, I'm really trying to hold out for a good BYOB coffee house so that I can continue to have underage participants. I think that it's important for us as artists, writers, to be able to have a venue where youth can come and learn how to do what we do, or if not anything, get over the stage fright of being out in front of people reading your stuff. So I do have a page on, or a thing on Facebook. So it doesn't have a home yet. Someday it will. My 8th book, Screws Fall Out, is now in print. I have copies with me, and pages in the printer, in my wonderful signature paper bag, which if you haven't felt this yet, it's a wonderful medium for chapbooks because it's nice and thick and just feels good in your hand. So I'll read a couple pieces out of here, and I apologize for stepping out earlier. Oh, she went to the washroom. Well, I apologize to you for stepping out earlier. Let's do... I'll start it out and pick it up. Movement of life. This life moves in ways we are unable to control, taking us through heaven and hell. You are there on the sofa, and I can't touch you. You laugh at a movie, but I see you crying inside. There was love, there was life. We created life, beautiful. We embodied love. And now it is spent. Now you struggle just to be my friend. This life, wrapped in past experience, past emotion, takes and takes every breath until the last. We are unable to control the outcome of our desires, of our longing. It is pointless and trivial, yet we breathe. We reach for tomorrow and hope that it will be stronger than today, that it will show us purpose, meaning, value. And each flight of the sun, flight of the moon, brings us more confirmation of our fragility. Whisper winds. Whisper winds of change, the fields hear your name. You call out the children to play and they play. You call out the flowers to bloom and they rise above your call, sending explosions of color to our eyes. You rattle the winter limbs of trees so they burst forth leaves to catch your breath and shake a new sound to our ears. You inhale moisture from there, package it in giant puffs of fluff, and send it here for us to enjoy as shifting sky statuettes, releasing cool showers that quench thirst and brighten our vision with promising arcs of color. Whisper winds of change, tell us of your past travels and future directions. Tell us of the oceans you swam, pushing up waves that you rode, crashing to shore. Tell us of mountains you scaled only to slide down the other side as a happy child playing in a park. What seeds of tomorrow did you lift in your arms as you swept the broad plains, spreading future life before you for our enjoyment? When cleaning the urban grit with gusts of promise, did you stop to admire plastic bags lifted to the upper windows of skyscrapers? Little leaf tornadoes swirling a delicate dance on street corners. Whisper winds of change, bring us the hope of the new season. Cuddle our cold arms with your warm breath. Chill our cheeks with a fresh new spirit. We welcome your words and open our hands to feel your embrace. One more?
Sure, una más, senor.
Oh, this is the nice thing. What we were. What we were. What were we? What were we then, in the spring of our love, bright flowers open to the sun's glory, folding our petals tight together in the night's chill, an embrace opening to each morning? Were we but leaves, fresh and new, growing through our summer, stretching out our points to grab what light, what energy we could hold in ourselves? Feeding the roots we had set deep within fertile soil, giving rise to seeds that would grow into their own trees, sprout their own leaves. Our fine greenery, our beautiful blooms, set out only to flame in final color and wilt and shrivel, torn from our trunk, cast adrift in autumn winds. Our dormant winters holding the cold of our past droughts in tight rings, waiting for a spring rain that did not come. Our growth stunted by life's misdirection. Lumberjack lawyers come now with sharpened axes, ready to hack what remains. We fall to the saw, milled to plank, set in the kiln, our moisture removed. We are hardened, ready to be something new.
And good luck with your locale. I still have it on my events list and I'm waiting to find out what's going on. I like switching. Sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, I always love it when he would actually show up, so please give it up for Mr. Bob Weinberg. Bob! The first of the Bob trilogy. Even before the sidekick, Bob Weinberg.
Thank you so much.
This is a free Bob.
That's right.
This is a very short one, untitled. I eat couscous because I once knew a Karen Couscous. She was a fine nurse. And Jay walked like my cousin Jay. He wasn't killed that way. I carry the last remaining pencil distributed by Jay's Potato Chip Company. on Untitled. Carry me back to the early days of McDonald's, the iconic first burger which was fed to me. I should be famous, Mommy extricating the pink slime from the Wonder Bun and mixing it with cauliflower and peas in order to please me. That slime, having the same chemical composition as the primordial ooze, was considered a health food like liver, though it came before liver. Oh, carry me back to the early days of creation, that I might see a Brussels sprouts plant spring up between lanes of a McDonald's parking lot, fully formed like the goddess Athena and nutritious like brain food, having a European pedigree. So I read this last night. I enjoyed this little one. Transformations. Tiny lumps on the sides of my head, not indicative of a trauma or a disease like mumps. Too small to be discerned by a medical observer with the keenest scan. They can be felt. I sense they're furry. Perhaps I'm turning into a doe. I vow to be first in my generation of does to go to college, go out for track and field. And this is, I wear the Brooklyn Dodgers cap, one of the reasons. So,
They're good at basketball team.
I heard you were the second person. That's great. I'm really glad to hear that. So, no further ado. I do think the 1955 victory, that's what this is about. 1955, an invocation. The Brooklyn Dodgers became non solum, not only world champions, sed etiam, but also rulers of the universe for 1 year only, during which time they performed mitzvahs on behalf of fans, whether or not they had rooted for Walter O'Malley's team during the 55 season. The mitzvah of showing other teams how to beat the Yankees as if it were second nature. In those days, pre-wash and wear, the Dodgers ironed their own traveling uniforms. Even as rulers of the universe, they employed no maid servants in hotels and cities through which they passed. In less than the twinkling of an eye, trousers would be pressed, which would keep their crease sliding home. Making a beeline from Philly, the seat of their pants rendered scuff-proof by the miraculous ironing. And I don't know how to do one more. I enjoy writing this love poem. Oh, Milwaukee, Chicago's sister city, more so than Osaka in Japan, or Prague, reputedly in the Czech Republic. In a dream, I was delivering cupcakes to your downtown section. I was providing businessmen their lunches, though none protruded their heads from the ornate rotunda of the stock exchange where deals were being consummated. Deals with Oshkosh and Wapaka, your little sisters. I don't believe you could be harsh with any of them. With my cousin Fega Pearl, who inhabits woodland patterns with her chapbooks. Tender her royalties, be thou intimate with the white crane origami, bearing her signature emerging from the staffs. Thank you so very much. Second bow.
Thank you.
You are so welcome.
I'm so welcome. Thanks. Because he's still collecting his change up there, I'm going to ask if everybody would like to hear, and I'm thinking he might sit over there in his awesome high chair because he's so lucky. Please give it up for Mr. Buddha 309.
Oh, no.
Jeez. Walking towards the stage.
309.
309. Start coming with.
3. Oh.
I'm up here now. Wow. No, I'm taking the stage tonight. Like I haven't been on the stage enough this week. But all the cool stuff is up here now. You got the stool and the dual microphones. And not only are they dual microphones, but they're the bendy kind.
Only a poet would think of a stool as being cool.
Dude, come on, you've had one of those bowel movements that border on the miraculous.
At my age, that's every one.
Hey everybody, look, it's a new issue of Exact Change Only. A fabulous poetry magazine that just came out on Monday. They're $10 a copy. I have this one here and some more over there. If you want to buy them while I'm on stage, find Esteban and he'll take your money. I'm going to read the first 3 lines and then you decide what goes with it. I love doing that to piano players. Because I can never keep up with them anyway. Alright? The last time I saw you, we put on gasoline straitjackets, lit our last cigarettes, and kissed each other goodbye. Waving at passing freight trains and refusing the blindfolds. We were always too damn proud for the bullshit ceremony. And why am I standing in your revolution again? Hopelessly outnumbered, skull-faced, and holding an outdated German pistol. I am not the arbiter of your retribution, your dime-operated justice machine, a tragic Hollywood hero, arriving too late to answer the question, where were you when it all fell apart? Can't you feel me? I'm holding your hand, standing on this ledge, standing too close to the fire, silently jumping into ranting rapids, wearing strychnine overcoats, stitched with infamy and lead, transgressional parachutes of rubber bands and anvils, all tragically English in a way. You ask for the marmalade, look through fluorescent eyes, take another deep antiseptic breath, looking, not looking, remembering, not remembering, wringing your hands, sorting the voices of an internal monologue, lips unmoving. You ask, where were you when it all fell apart? And I don't remember. You were meant to be my alibi. This one, coming up on Monday, John Good is our feature at Cafe Valou, 939 Northwestern Avenue, and instead of picking a theme for tonight, John has set forth a prompt for y'all. It is the first ever John Good Poetry Prompt Invitational, and the prompt is 1,000 pounds of fog. Right, now if you say nobody could write a poem about 1,000 pounds of fog, right, I'm going to do my 1,000 pounds of fog poem right now, written this afternoon.
Awesome.
Okay, we can do the same thing if you want, but this one's short, so.
It's really short, just.
Okay. She never touched me, never glanced in my direction, drank champagne, rippled the tissue of ether that carried her like a sedan chair. She walks the grace of uncomfortable birds, another invisible length in this tether, stone laid upon my chest, I'd swear I've seen her outside that little cafe in Seattle where I used to buy those skinny cigars and watch the international criminals trade secrets for sex. But she casts no reflection, just atmosphere and perfume. I'm not leaving yet because I've got more things to plug coming up on Friday nights, featured at the first Friday show. Roby is bringing in the Poets Club Chicago for the fabulous Poetry Wheel. Anybody not know what a Poetry Wheel is?
Come join us.
What's a poetry wheel?
A poetry wheel is, there is a leader of the poetry wheel, someone who kicks off the poetry wheel, and they start that by reading a poem. And then the next person in succession must connect their poem in theme, style, format, or just the fact that it has words like the first poem, right, to the first poem. And this goes on and on and on. Now, because many of the poetry wheel members are tied up with vacations, and there's only going to be 8 of them in the show, Tom has actually generously opened up the show. If you want to be part of the wheel, bring a whole bunch of poetry with you and come on in and sit down. And we'll test your skills. We will. And speaking of skill testing, right? I told you about John Good, and there's another open mic coming up, but what I've been preparing for months. The first Friday in September, champions are born.
Pentathlon!
It is the Poetry Pentathlon. Eight contestants pitted against each other in 5 categories, right? Judged by 3 pretty well-known people in the poetry community, and Stevie will try to perform at some point too, I think, but I keep telling him he's not in the show. He noticed that his hands are up against his ears. He's going, I'm not listening, I'm not listening.
I'm not listening.
Okay. But that's all I got. I'm going to leave the stage and let Janet host this thing. That's what she does.
That's what she does. Well, since you mentioned Stevie, Esteban Colon, I thought I might have to call him on up next. So please, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Stevie Esteban Colon.
I'm feeling a little nostalgic tonight. I hope you all don't mind. I am a romantic. And like a high school nickname, that's not something you aspire to. Rather, something you accept after hearing it often enough. Romantic is a disease, a neuroses comprised of, how am I going to set up the surprise when working 60-hour weeks, and what if someone steals the flowers from the carts from her car when she's at work, and what if someone thinks I'm a burglar when I try to sneak in and set up the surprise, and romantic is a disease designed to ingest all brain function with the target of your love, designed to turn bare-knuckle brawlers into teddy bears, pugilists into pussies, designed to fuck you into forgetting the word fuck. Romantic is a disease. The death cry of the nice guy who, despite finishing last, still can't get laid. Still finds the woman of his dreams straying for that slight bit of danger she tries to convince herself isn't a conscious attempt to fuck things up. And I have seen a doctor. Head heavy with medication, I'm walking into bars 12 steps at a time, and I would like to reintroduce myself. My name is Esteban Colon, and I am a recovering romantic.
You approve of this message?
I hope you approve of this one as well. Opposite world, opposite world. I cried as I tried to write opposite world. Implied in my pride were the words that unfurled as I became your guide into opposite world. Opposite world, where you are a boy and I am a girl, and I hold my head in your chest as we twirl, dancing and prancing in opposite world. Opposite world, where Murphy's outlawed and Occam's found flawed, where pugilists dance never to be jawed, where puppies and kittens find themselves pawed by people pets inside this opposite world. Opposite world, where everyone listens and all understand, each person in every small nook in this land. I ask you now, dear, won't you please take my hand to not live with me deep inside opposite world. Thank you. And this last one isn't mine. In fact, I'm not able to do it alone. I need some help. So everyone, give a round of applause for our host who's going to come out and help me with this. Come on, Jenene.
I suddenly feel embarrassed.
It's all right. They don't have to know.
We won't have to tell him. He came over to my studio and was reading poetry. And although I have a lot of crap out there, he said, "Hey, has anyone ever done that poem of yours about there's blood running and there's a car thing?" And I'm like, "Fantastic car crash? Yeah, I really like to do that one." And because it was that poem and because he'd be here, I thought maybe we could read that together. So, this is Fantastic Car Crash.
And our life is one big road trip now. And we set the cruise control and make our way down the expressway.
And most of the time we're just moving in a straight line and the scenery blurs. There's nothing to see.
But I know what's inside you. And I know what you're made of. I know there's no such thing as calm with you.
You are a fantastic car crash. You stop traffic in both directions as the gapers gawk and the delay grows as they slow down and stare.
Everything shatters with you, you know? It's a spectacular explosion. I try to duck and cover as the metal flies through the air.
And every time you leave the scene of the accident, I am left picking up the shards of glass from the windows.
You know, the glass breaks into such tiny pieces. They look like ice. It takes so long to pick up the pieces.
And even though I'm careful, I'm still picking up the pieces, and I'm still on my knees, and the glass cuts into my hands, and the blood drips down into the street.
Think of it as my contribution to this fantastic car crash that is you. That is me, that is us, as I pull the glass from my hands.
And I wave my hand to the line of traffic. Go ahead. Keep driving. This happens all the time.
There's nothing to see here. Thank you.
I'm so awesome. Thank you. And he's taken my poem. But that, no. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. That's enough of this host. I think you need to hear another host. So please, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for a few poems from the sidekick himself, the Bobster himself, Mr. Bob Rashkow.
There's this talented guy named Rory Jost, who's an actor and a playwright. And he wrote this thing called the Rorsky Plays, and eventually I'm hoping to read all these, but I've only printed out 2 so far. And what he did was he had a bunch of us give him $20, and he wrote poems about the celebrities of our choice. That's not the point, no. And so these are the first 2 that I've got. Mine is somewhere in there, but it's way down at the bottom, so I have to print them out by doing the selection thing, so I've only done 2 so far. Anyway, this is the first one. I'm not sure who this is about. Maybe you guys can tell me after I'm done. But his first name is Martin. It's for Katie Hall. It's called Benedict Cumberbatch is Just an Actor. Blue croc, red croc, Liberty crocs, hot and cold, American bipolar. Why else would he wear them in winter? It's blood. One has blood. The other blue one, of course. 'Twas the bloody shoes. Martin, one half of the bloody shoes made way with the craft service blood sausage, and the bloody rare steak, and the bloody Mary, and the blood of a poet DVD I left on the craft service table. Looking pudgy and particularly rouge today, Martin, and your breath smells of tomato juice and celery, and you have a giant cloth napkin in your pocket, and you've been dropping French words casually into conversation. Oh, you ate the sausage? You ate the steak? You drank the Bloody Mary? You borrowed the blood of a poet DVD without asking? But you're wearing loafers. I guess I'm just an actor. Let's run lines. The Rory poem the second. Chris Cooper with karate chop action for Rhonda Pilon. Or Pylon, or however she pronounces it. Why haven't they made an action figure of me yet? Douglas from Where the Wild Things Are doesn't count. Because everybody tells me that voice work doesn't count. How many fucking sheriffs or deputies or soldiers or marines or state troopers do I have to play? They all have guns that can easily go, be you, be you. Paint me green and call me a middle-aged ninja turtle. I'll be Donatello, because I can do machines. Dip me in silver, Robo LaRouche. Sprawling New Yorker shit turned into glitzy, expensive Hollywood abundance. Charlie Kaufman would love this meta swag. Bathe me in brown. I'm the shit monster, birthed from that shit pool. Remember me. That movie I did with Robert Pattinson, unless you forgot. What ironic, progressively minded hipster wouldn't want a Made-A-Wan action figure, complete with pickaxe and protest sign? Or the Dad from October Sky figure, which consequently looks just like the Made-A-Wan figure. I was in the Muppets, damn it! They make figures of nameless characters. Imagine the Tex Richmond doll, pull the string, maniacal laugh. Bob Peck, Stig Eldred, Tommy Tolles. One moment, please. Never mind, I'll go on, John. Nick Brimble, Tracy Walter. How many of these assholes have you heard of? None. How many of these assholes have Oscars? 0. How many of those assholes have action figures? Figures. All of them. Ooh, new script. Action figure man meets the brother from another planet. Pull my string. Fuck yeah. Character, voiceover narrator. Pull my string. Fuck off. And just for Charlie, 60s lyrics poetry. The summer had inhaled and held its breath too long. The winter looked the same as if it had never gone. And through an open window where no curtain hung, I saw you coming back to me. One begins to read between the pages of a look, the sound of sleepy music, and suddenly you're hooked. I saw you coming back to me. You came to stay and live my way, scatter my love like leaves in the wind. You always say that you won't go away, but I know what it always has been. It always has been. A transparent dream beneath an occasional sigh. Most of the time I just let it go by. Now I wish it hadn't begun. I saw you coming back to me. Strolling the hill overlooking the shore, I realize I've been here before. The shadow in the mist could have been anyone. I saw you coming back to me. Small things like reasons are put in a jar. Kept in a jar is what it's supposed to be inside. Whatever happened to wishes wished on a star? Was it just something that I made up for fun? I saw you coming back to me. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I guess that's by Marty Ballin or Paul Cantor or one of you. Marty Ballin.
Okay, boys and girls, I want to say that I'm looking at this list and I think I have 6 people left on this list.
Wow.
And that means you've got, well, if I want to be able to give him 20 minutes, you got 20 minutes. So we should probably try to go through the hour. I'm just giving you guys the heads up in case we got to get out here like at 9 o'clock because it's 8:15, 8:17 now. So I'm going to go through this quickly. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Mr. Bob Lawrence, third Bob of the
I'll cut some of this out.
He's confirming this stuff, so I start.
This is all the same. What's happening right now?
You know, they're going to take a while here. I don't have
This is a John Page book.
Holy, yeah, the silent treatment. Just so you know, after Bob Lawrence, Jenene Ravesloot is going to be up on deck, and after that, Tom Roby. Over your 3. After that, we got Bruce Matteson. Then we got William Huddleston as a new guy here, and then we've got G.P.A. to close out the evening. So please give it up for Mr. Bob Lawrence.
I'll give a slightly shorter version of this. It's a poem actually dedicated for Charlie Newman called The Poetry Show. Despite the purest denial, poetry is part show. A touch of vaudeville the way to go. But poetry should be straight from the heart. Bull! The heart doesn't feel shit. It's all in the brain, the convoluted gray matter, the source of all chatter. Yeah, a few neurons have been found scattered in the human heart, but only to facilitate the mechanical part. Bump, 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 bump. A source of rhythm, sure, but not emotion or meaning. Screw poetry straight from the heart. Try poetry straight from the heart on, swelling out and demanding acceptance. The purists say we are poetasters. Fuck you. We are poetry tasters, tasting the wind and its juices, tasting life in its many guises, surprises, and beguiling ways. Instead of serious verse, give me serrated verse, raking the world with multiple edges. Give me ferrous verse with an iron constitution, transforming in the presence of evaporation, condensation, lucubration, and rustimation. Listen to Walt. Pull the doors off their hinges and light up both sides. Yes, illuminate the perpetual, irrepressible surge of life through the Paleogene, the Miocene, the Epicene, and the Plasticine. Celebrate the impertinent, the incongruent, the unexpected. Reminds me of a joke. There's this guy who's got this incredibly intelligent parrot. He has conversations with this thing. The only problem is he talks a blue streak. I'll save you what that is. But anyway, but it just blew he curses like a sailor. So a guy wants to invite a girl over, her condo being fixed, he has to have it at her place, and he tells the parrot, I want you to shut up during this dinner or else. So the girl comes over, and for a while the parrot's quiet, but then he can't hold it back anymore, and he says, hey lady, George has been having wet dreams about you every night. He can't wait to see your tits and get into your pants. The girl immediately walks out, and George is furious. So he grabs the parrot and he sticks it in the freezer. That'll show him. After a while, he feels a little bad. This parrot, even if it curses, is kind of special. So he opens the freezer door, he pulls out the parrot, and gradually the parrot flaws, and he says, say something to me. And the parrot says, yeah, I want to say something. Well, what is it? What did the chicken do? Bob, if you continue this madness, we're going to have a mommy house and a daddy house. Sure, and yo-yo the kids through post-marital space, cram that wormhole someplace where the moon doesn't shine. I insist upon one house, our house, okay? With its many mansion rooms, a rowdy house, a bawdy house, a howdy-do house, a house flush with the royalty of every man and every woman, an open house with open windows, a clean, enlightened place, replete with brilliance and splendor, restoring the world's booty. No, I am not a lunatic. I'm firing on all 8. The lights are on and somebody is home. The screws are all tight. I'm securely on my rocker. The wheel is spinning and the hamster is alive and well. I'm perfectly sane. Right, Charlie, right?
We need to have less time with me up here, ladies and gentlemen. Please, God, from 4, the only lady in the house is worth it. Give it up for Jenene Ravesloot.
Hey.
Ooh, is this a little guy? Okay. And nice to see all the Bobs here, too. Wow. Just came out with a new book, The Chronicles of Scarborough. And so I'm going to open with another judgment dream. Scarborough is sitting next to me. He's reading La Fleur du Mal while he sips a gin and tonic almost as big as him. And here I am, minding my own business, while a bartender wipes a table with a dirty rag, and I watch a spider crawl across the floor. So far, so good. I can hear the bells in the harbor, see the moon through the window that is like a white rabbit someone has pulled out of a battered black hat. Observe a few flashing stars. I am so happy, really I am, too. I know I've had too much to drink, too many sliders. When I start blathering something about sin and redemption to anyone who will listen, and the dwarf who's sitting next to me begins to sway back and forth, before pulling a derringer on me. And I'm not frightened. In fact, I think it's pretty funny, which isn't a good thing because everyone's running out of the place and now it's only him and me. Even the bartender has gone to the bathroom to scratch his fleas. The little bastard is stuttering now, and his absent reflection in the barroom mirror only makes me laugh harder while a hard rain is pelting the windows outside, and Baby Love is playing over and over in my head when I hit the sawdust floor. Sometimes I simply unravel, begin to bray like a wounded mule. There's no ignoring me or shutting me up. A bald affliction has seized me, and no amount of small talk can talk me down. I'm a rotten egg in brine. I'm lime and salt on the rim of a bad margarita, a bleeding scratch that won't coagulate, phlegm on the barroom floor. So these are some dreams in the beginning of the book, but I think I'm just going to do one more, and you don't explain, of course, don't you? Don't explain. Blah, blah, blah.
I know more. Just take my
Well then, okay, that's good. Another dream.
It's another jazz.
Exactly. Another dream about Scarborough. So Scarborough's looking down at me at dawn, says, your future is finished. I cock one eye open like the hammer on a real Philadelphia Derringer look up at him, feel one bony knee pressed on my chest. His words reverberate like gunshots in a shooting gallery, but I feel undeniably calm in spite of my imminent annihilation. Maybe there's another world waiting for me on the other side of out of sight. Lunch on the table, an easy wind blowing through an open window, white curtains, a single bird singing on a naked branch outside, naked babe inside with pink ribbons in her long red hair, patting wire sheets on the unmade bed. Then me between splayed out legs, some wise guy dedicating Dexter's Don't Explain to yours truly on the bedside radio at dusk. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I even brought a bench along in case anybody wants it. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the ultra charming and sexy Mr. Tom Roby. Give it up.
Okay, so this is the Legend of Marksman, Maestro. If you have some Soviet marching songs, Thank Mayday, Relentless, throw in some Shostakovich. Marksman at 5 a.m. puts on his work gloves, hard hat, grabs his lunch pail, strides heroically to the bus stop, hijacks the #1 bus to the revolution. Marksman marks his territory by pissing in the snow next to Moneyman's Cohen. How much is enough? Marksman takes a little bit longer to write. A lot more than that. Marksman is a markman. Crosshairs mark the back of his neck. Marksman clutches Molotov cocktails in both hands, stops off as Walmart buys a new barricade. A red flag is thrown in, free of charge. Marksman likes that. Celebrates by marking his territory just a little bit more. Circling his doghouse that he has brought with him in case it rains tear gas. Marksman incites a new revolt, a new oppression, a new apprehension of ever newer revolts, of revolutions on replay. Marksman is a marksman, wonders who'll walk the dog, who'll dog the walk, who'll eat the dogs when the revolution is done. Marksman is a markman who still reads Karl Marx. Marksman is a markman with crosshairs on the back of false man's bald head. Marksman likes to dress up as Chuckles the Clown. Marksman is crack, a crack shot on the pistol range. Marksman tangos around the corner, fires warning shots into boss man's stretch limo tires. Marksman takes long shots on big shots, bumps off people who can't be replaced. Marksman is a markman. Okay, that's #1 now. Have we got time for #2? Okay, one more. #2. Marksman plays the lottery, breaks the bank, spooks a teller, wings a guard. Marksman only wants lots of 20s and unmarked bills, makes his getaway in a red unmarked Mercedes. Marksman is a markman. Marksman gets used to making his mark, glances at the back of his neck on a billboard, crosshairs on his neck, bullseye on his back. Marksman waits to be marked down. Marksman is a marked man. Marksman yanks his hard hat off his hard head at 6 p.m., snatches his lunch pail, marks his territory alley, heads out the door, strides past the bus stop, marches 9 miles to his home, makes his dinner, watches ice hockey, flops onto his sack. Marksman can't sleep, takes a sleeping pill, raises the refrigerator at 2 a.m., gets ready for work, ready for the next revolution. Marksman is a ready man. Marksman arrives at work at every time just ahead of the revolution. Marksman punches the clock, punches out foreman. Strawman nails up a sign that reads, shut down for non-payment of bribes. Marksman makes his mark on the jobless check. He gets 8 weeks later, feels the revolution has stalled for good. Marksman is a goods man. Marksman can cash his check because the bankers are still on holiday. Marksman is a man.
Ladies and gentlemen, in a couple of weeks, this man's going to read something from the August issue of CC&D magazine, but because we're short on time and he's got his own original new stuff he wants to read, please give it up for Mr. Bruce Matteson! See, I've been saving you from stuff from CC&D for a couple of weeks, because there's so much stuff going on.
Thank you. Like a schizophrenic dream come true. I'm already sorry for this one. It's called I'm So Sad, said the boy who couldn't pronounce his B's. I love you with a passion that exceeds the passion expressed by all the poets who have ever lived or ever will, says he. I thought you were someone else, says she. I will become a famous poet and learn to say the right words, says he. If I could feed my babies with words, I wouldn't have to work my ass off, says she. Here, have some Latin, a smattering of world languages that I have Googled and a few I've made up, says he. Fuck you, says she. You know, poetry isn't just about fame and money, and it's about heart and justice and beauty and strong feelings and making people aware and changing the world as well, says he. Fuck you, says she. I just want to be loved. Is that so wrong, says he. Okay, you can come in. But take your shoes off and pretend you aren't here, says she. Never mind. All the people I badmouth in my poetry have chipped in for an assassin to kill me, says he. Well, they can't do it here. I just had the house cleaned, says she. This one's called Confession Shot. You can jump in anytime. Take the edges off.
That's great, Chris.
I only got into poetry in the first place for the money. I never really expected that it might get me laid, after all. It is to such an extent comprised of folks seeking the soulful beauty in all things, and I am to that, you must agree, what a rotting carcass is to prime beef. So why should it shock you that I've sold out? For your own good, get over whatever hope you've entertained that I might be a poet. If I have appeared or spoken to confuse you, or sucked up to the sports proficients, that I might use their auras like a shoehorn to fit in. Hey, if I were in East LA, I couldn't learn gang signs fast enough. I'm outed, goddammit. I'm a freaking wolf, a shark, meat eater, predator. I'm your proverbial worst nightmare, the lowest form of scum-sucking mutant humanity. I snuck in amongst you for a little snack. I'm a poetry critic, for crying out loud, in poet's clothing. If you've been so had, when I'm not doing this, I wear Armani and Burberry and drive a Ferrari. It's my job to keep you out of print, and I'm not without a modicum of remorse. I must admit that in the course of my deception, I too caught the bug to be recognized. But as a professional, could I just say, stay the fuck away from mummies, bubbies, babies, all planets, the sun, the moon, the stars, and the wild run sea. It's true that any corn not from Monsanto has some appeal, but not nearly enough. I don't want to know how dramatic you find color. I'm colorblind, for goodness sakes. Your perennial gray depression might come off to me as a riotous and exhilarating rainbow of lust. If you must steep yourself in the religion of your fathers like a tea bag in boiling water, suffer in silence already. No one wants to see the scars that love and war have left upon you. And if you're just not deciding who to share your genitals with, please don't tell, unless it's me. Above all, do not be discouraged. The art of words needs your blood to survive. I live in hopes that you may find new ways to thrill me. But if I have incensed you beyond any chance of reconciliation by my honest confession, and your mind is made up to end the humiliation, before you go, could you just tell me, please, do you think this piece might have been more effective if I made it rhyme?
I'm gonna try.
My last one is Witness and Incursion, a cursed version. The worst verse of woe and vile, cryptophile, don't tell my mother, who thinks I gild the toenails of God in a righteous factory, and doesn't know about my Teflon kneecaps. The third replacement already wore half through, occupational hazard of the unemployed. You don't have to like sucking the big one to get bent over by circumstances and be violated by the unforgiving, not to mention the indiscriminate. Not saying I'm not gay, just saying how many on the other side of the cotillion dance floor think grooming means looking through the dumpster carefully. And what part of clusterfuck implies voluntary participation? Happiness is a warm gun, doesn't name names, and I don't find it a stretch that for every thug that picks flowers for the love of his life, there's most likely a victim wondering why me. I need to believe that life is a crapshoot, because if God wanted people like us, there goes the whole notion of intelligent design. Hipsters that have all is the way Tom Cruise jerks off. Pure fiction. Some of the greatest screw-ups, crazies that ever drew breath, also inherited talent, good eyes, and large chunks of the planet, and it doesn't bother them one bit that their coronation and reign requires the flesh of blood of their minions, leading me to believe that right before your conception, your DNA is in a cosmic shitstorm, and your father's dick is a primordial lightning rod that draws off a wee bit at random, channeled by his God-given lust, entering through your jackhammering asshole and spewed into your mother's oven, which doubles as her sense of humor. The crapshoot part being that you didn't land all over the Sears Roebuck catalog woman's lingerie pages.
I love the honesty. I love it. It's when I got this name on my list, William Huddleston, a newbie, which should get a ton of applause. I felt bad that he might not do like the really, really raunchy stuff that I was hoping for. But ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for our new mother for William. Get it up here, William.
This is my first ever open mic night for poetry ever. First time ever performing any of my poetry, so I got a couple, some I'll be reading out of my phone because I'm deathly afraid of losing physical copies of my poetry, so. This first one is called Bella Nocturna at Sinister Sol. And you can feel free to play along if you feel free. Into the night I see thine eyes staring at me from the dark. Why in your plight do you fear the cries of the morning lark? You still standing waiting for this struggle in the shadow, a cry demanding from your abyss destruction of this plateau. Could you fathom in your void that you are just a child? From Eve to Adam, little humanoid, you are in fact part wild. Take it from me, I've seen the day when light becomes plain evil. Soon you will see what I have to say is but the prick of a needle. A question burning in your mind is one of skepticism. With the world turning, you will find a deeper algorithm. A simple mission for us all to clean the mess we made. And should you listen to the call, damnation may be swayed. That was the only one I could do probably from memory, so. This one is called Cold-Blooded. Amidst these darkened aging clouds, the broken winter fading, in my beating heart there lies only blood and muscle. A thought process, a mix of pinball and Gregorian chant. Stalemate calls the rival, the burden less intense. The fiery desperation rises, exceeds the gentle calm. In a moment, a flash, a bang, the change made coincides with one swift and climatic upheaval. Enter the rose. Beautiful petals speak in red mesmerizing glow. Beauty and mystique stake claim of captivations, motivation, and intense internal speculations. And should those thorns claim blood, it will be offered up to redden the petals. The eyes see all, see nothing. Time's attendance is all but waning. The flow of the beast is here, is now, is soon to be a struggle. Where thoughts are heard and words are slaughtered, the poet's game is up. All the saints weeps for you and me. The madman's prophecy is lived by. The saint's sweeping extols a maniacal, devious, lucrative, diabolical epiphany. In one sense of the word, I am burning. I have burned. I will burn. But not now, not when a million snowflakes are falling, descending like a rain of ash upon the world so long forgotten. A broken winter still resides, though broken, but strong, cold, ungodly. With but a memory of a story told to myself, the harsh winter winds blow and carry rose petals in its wake. This one is called, What Are You Afraid Of? A dark tunnel, the light getting farther and farther away behind you, pitch black, where you are alone, where your mind can play tricks. You might be unstable and high, and ignorance is a privilege. Things that go bump in the night slowly become your neighbors. Things you once knew are like photographs. They are only visible in light. Which means they don't exist anymore, at least not here. You might even be pursued by a pack of wild dogs, but it is more likely someone you once held dear. There are whispers too. You can choose to be paranoid and selectively hear your fate, although who is to say? They might be premonitions, omens of the end of everything. What are you afraid of? It was bound to happen sometime or another, by one way or another. Why fear the future? Why fear the unknown? It will eat you up sooner or later. But most times, it just takes bites out of you, just to see how you fare. So just smile, spite it all. Don't ever let them see you sweat. Nervousness is just an insecurity, a fear that your position has been compromised. The only thing you should be aware of is getting stuck. Stuck in a world many others depend on, because it is all temporary. Smile at the ones who attempt to make things permanent. Feel sorry for them, because they feel fear, and you know better.
Oh.
Should we leave it at 3?
What?
Should we leave it at 3?
Can I, one more? Yeah.
If it's a short.
Yes, very short.
Thank you.
Sorry.
That's okay.
This one's called number 1088. Freezing rain and stirring minds, I wrecked the walls which never were, wooing misfortune and lady death, heresy and blasphemy buried deep. A voice cries out to beauty flow, irreproachable time ever on the move. To the exhilaration of the enemy, whose ferocious velocity secures vacuity. A precious gain on unfamiliar ground seems shaken now by a God I've lost. Did thievery steal or charity give away the joy that was at some point had? Split was the heaven, split was the hell, split was the little girl I knew so well. The meditative path wound round the yard, my memory faded, my mind split.
Welcome to the world of poetry.
Oh my God.
Thank you. And for people who don't know, because they're new here or whatever, if we're running short on time, we like to say 3 poems or 5 minutes. If you got 3 really short ones, then leave it at that. But if we're running short, you should actually watch for that. And I think I'm going to have the last open micer this evening, and right after him, because we're short on time, the feature is going to be up. So, find a spot in between poems to get your refills. Please give it up for, the man I never see, but I didn't get to see him Monday. Please give it up for G.P.A.
Oh my God, I feel jolly good tonight. Great goggle.
Pip, pip.
Mr. Newman.
I love the Chewbacca of poetry. That's my Landau.
Mr. Newman, this poem I wrote on the Facebook, which you abhor greatly. But I wrote it, and I felt quite ostentatious when I did it. And I do know what that means. I got a 23 on the ACT. So, all right, okay, here we go. This is new I thought of. Work with me on it, all right? I sat watching Shark Tank on Friday night, all alone on my couch. Cherubim and seraphim, looking from the heavens, felt sorry for me and joined me. After about 30 minutes, they both remarked how intelligent and adept my conversation was. They were surprised that a human being could talk and be so funny at the same time. Cherubim leaned over and she kissed me deeply, tongues exchanging, and I had never done that with an angel before, so it had a different exhilaration to it. Seraphim, feeling a little jealous, rubbed my bald head, but she realized that it wasn't the same. As Cherubim pushed her away and grasped my face and kissed me even more deeply, grinding herself, wings flapping in the background. Seraphim wanted to upstage her sister, descended, not into hell, mind you, but descended to my lower self. These khakis, I think they were, unbuckled the belt, unbuttoned the button, unzipped the zipper, removed from boxes, obelisk throbbing, pulsating, vein popping. She devoured it. In one gulp, actually. Debbie Doves Dallas has nothing on her. I could see her head moving up and down, and as she accelerated, wings, and it was a sight to see, except I could see nothing, because Cherubim was kissing me deeply, and all I could see was her wings. Seraphim was, well, she was inhaling and exhaling, swirling, touching, tip, bottom, tip, bottom. Somehow, I don't know, her hands were so adept that her fingers reached under and grabbed undercarriage and gently treated the stepchildren like they were her own. Like they were her own. Cherubim was now jealous of her sister, having sole possession of obelisk. That Cherubim ceased kissing me. I was able to catch my breath. She, somehow or another, jumped in the air, flipped, landed not next to her sister, but right on the side of, and her chalice was where she was once kissing me. And I guess now it was my turn to kiss her. I inhaled, exhaled, left, right, up, down, triangles, circles, isosceles, every geometric shape you could think of. As I started to lose my consciousness of this reality, I looked in what I thought was the galaxy, all the celestial shapes, stars, shooting and otherwise, moons, planets, and I wondered if this debauchery was ordained by God, my excursion with two angels, my opponent.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. What I'm holding in my hand is a bag, and it's not my purse. My purse is only slightly larger than this. But this is for all of the money that you were supposed to give our feature, and I'm going to start it off with this, and I'm going to start passing it around and torturing everyone with it. Well, we have a phenomenal, phenomenal feature this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for the man who ran this thing for I don't know how many years. Give it up for Mr. Charlie Newman!
Okay. Gorby Donald died.
Yeah.
The average IQ of the country dropped 17 points. Headline in today's paper: Obama signs secret paper supporting those guys in Syria. The freedom fighters. It's a secret paper and everyone knows it's in the paper. Okay. Let's not do applause because time is short. We'll just not do it. Kaiser Sose says things never change by themselves. If so, resign yourself, alter your course, replace nouns with verbs, subjects with objects, without which evening hours grow hungry. It's nothing but ups, downs, highs, lows, for better, for worse, forgiven for reasons you will never understand. And all this self-centered routines to sign up for, you chose this. Kaiser Sose says, Our Father who art in heaven, grumbles gibberish. Kaiser Sose evades no thing. Humanity, done in heaven as it is on earth, never gets its vitamins, antioxidants, step aerobics, cosmetic enhancements, excuses, regrets, or its swaggering frailties, but hey, no matter amidst the sprinkling of withouts, the withins are what get you. The gray hair that haunts you in the mirror, no room for amnesty, and even your minutes grow old. Kaiser Sose says, grind positives into negatives into a life of phlegm. Excessive hangover logic may be just the natural selection your delusion needs. The cabal of South sociobiologists smooth all the speed bumps that keep the mayhem hidden for now. It is useless, of course. Assess, enjoy a cheroot, and remember, Kaiser Sose says, ignore the capillary fine line between love and obsession.
No applause, sorry, no applause.
Yeah, right. The dead never rise, never get nervous, never do the splits. Hardcore truth is all the dead have. I say to anyone who will listen, expecting to become rich and powerful on God's say-so, trapped in a gutter of space with a whore and a cheat and a murderer in rat love on a mission of blindness, deafness, lameness of the heart. I know the routine and come dressed in the most fashionable ennui because, face it, the sin is in looking bad, doing the things you do. Each thing, everything, ended, eyed, eaten, effect, no thing not hinged in the social. After all, every seventh heave, After all, every seventh heathen aspiration is an 8-ball albatross around somebody's beautiful neck in the expectation of cookie tombstones and flies of the cannot unopened, rebroken, behold the infinite kind, to be rebuilt on the few glitzy bubbles donated by directors of chance with a once-in-a-lifetime unwritten double-your-money-back guarantee. Daily agenda angels ash can the rag summer of your content, even as your poet runs out of recycled back alley adios verbiage. Seriously, would you rise for this? I can't read that one. Oh, yeah. My hands aren't working, so I'm not sure. You elect blindness and failure all at once and for all, and you believe in fume parades and more or less in boned people becoming an avalanche on our shores in doe-eyed intercourse, and you vote religiously with delight, with power, how free you must feel in sight, outsourced, regarding life only until it has time to stand in line. Take a number, one with a bullet, too brutal. The romance is lost on me. Snuff to snuff. How are you different from us? You are clay after all, unless God made you china, too fragile for everyday use. Everybody casts somebody old because everybody can, but not me. I have dark teeth, I joke, I develop the kids in me. Beat that. Convince yourself you're cast fine. You're fine, fine, and then it's my turn. Eventually, I will expose your rickets, eventually. You won't even mind. You will glow like an old joke, extending everything with the very flippant thing, every conversation, every tooth, every spring, every Cleopatra cast your way. Me? I don't Cleopatra much. I like the knowns, the mattress mornings, the always young spring actresses everybody meets and greets in the streets. See, it's just that way. I war, I want, I won't, I will conversate powerful, negative, well-thought, then broken and dark until Cleopatra's rickets have children. Hey, I spring like nobody, sister. I'm philosophy. Dig? I'm Sloby, everything grimness but hip. I party of one, and you? Shit, you ain't invited. Yeah. I'm poet. Rapper? No, I ain't. I cast no mattress and children don't hear me. Roll 2 and see, unless you're out of practice. Now, unless you're chicken. See, everything me, even my eventually, hear my glow, my spells, my mattress stories of who likes to do what in the dark, and of you. Of course, there is you. Touch my rickets. Everything will be cast away, and I want it all. New, used, recycled, broken, repaired, garbage. This hunger for everything must lead to war eventually. But hey, I'm game. I've got the grimness in me, or else no winter spark, no after spring, no grimness, been everything, everywhere, every which way, but under the spell. Truth is, I'm velour broke, no lie. A multiplex philosophy in a Colosseum universe. like I was born to be broke, an endless deception everybody buys into. Even if I'm a day old, it don't glow no more. Trust me, I'm no worse than the guy you're sitting next to. That happens like that. Okay. I'm cast adjacent to fear and broke rhymes, and then I am teeth to be cast as everything. Maybe some spells are iffy, but my spells, they ain't kidding around. Long to be dark and slow and hear the glow, but hey, I ain't got no records on me. Everything is, something is, nothing ain't got no spark, but everybody likes things cast with spark, with real acceptance, still glowing in velour light. I am cast joined at the asshole to cherubim, and astray, broke and broken, and everything means war, every time, everywhere, everybody. Knocked down is game to change to rickets from spring. Everyone cast won't trust the dark joke behind your situation. After I convince them I am the new man, high on wants and the tombs of spells, but change is the beginning. Fine, I can split again. I can be new, but I cannot be down on change. Not if I want to be cast, to be everything I am not. War must be practiced, I must practice, and then I will be cast in sly teeth or naked on the Serengeti. Retreat is not an option, stupid is not an option. You must know one thing, but nobody's talking.
Yes!
You see, oh, what a
Bodies buried, thanks to God, happen next week, wearing dead falling images, existential valleys kiss my ass, a dirty brain flooding my very private galleries, explorative sallies into the last nerve, reciprocating tallies, do unto others, every little chunk in place. You need to believe what will happen last night. Words in ice lock up a year in the cheat seeps. Ought to be more, nowhere, nothing to see. Now here, nobody to know. Damn it, where are the bodies? In some squalid room, everywhere, every time. Smiling around with the boys, eating secrets through a haze like they're Roy oysters. That must be raw
You know,
oysters.
this is not a clapping thing that's killing us.
Yeah.
We're on
Oh, come on. I'm going to get through this. Did somebody say unknowable? Caught in a vacuum of gullible thin king? Stadiums hail hometown mud packs and plant whiskey in hollow circles and circle like beasts waiting for summer and slouch toward hidden Bethlehem where trials never underestimate the power of negative thin king. Not every Hegelian fascist has had the pleasure of cocktails between a knowing master and a positive cloud of clues. I am not pinstriped, I think. I am historic, a plume of dinosaur gas. Even a learned carbon footprint crawls its hasty final minutes across country machinery, and every cloud that passes tells the world I may speak in tongues, but I speak straight. And still, angel songs go on, aided and abetted by sooty candle after sooty candle, lit to God's suffering. I would whisk the world and outline and the tongues and the stacks of angels and dinosaur dust. I would drink carbon cocktails between footprints. I would swallow cities and scatter birds beyond when cities collapse forever. But I underestimate my nowhere, my now here, my power of negative living. God bless the thin king, wherever the fuck he is. Now that sucks. Hey, we're down to 2.
Uh-oh.
I did it. Wait, but they're in the wrong order. Okay. Yeah, I'm Newark, the express lane to tabloid TV where my ass belongs. I'm stuck in neutral, watching those who aren't, those who never disappeared in my rearview mirror, who aren't worth the words it takes to describe them. It all comes down to deserving it or not. I coin my nightshade eyes, court those who smile while I take pictures of those who do and those who don't, pray like fascists in the mirrors of their discontinent. The prom-crawl queen of all virtues, sucking the pornographer's bloody fingers, sitting on the laps of the rich and the famous, no matter that it comes from friends with the best intentions. I axe grind the sucker's dull, donated a beautiful night sweat for a platoon serving make-believe final meal. One last attempt to return to absolute power. It is useless, of course. I am where the bodies are buried. They are the bodies. The last poem to my wonderful Newark. I I got rickets, I got a split, I glow like velour in the dark. My teeth are all broke, but I ain't no joke, no, I am the gridness of Newark. My children cast a war of spells, they all got their old man spark. I'm old, but I'm hip, I gave them my chip, yeah, I am the gridness of Newark. The gridness of Newark, the gridness of Newark, the king does the queen on the throne. The gridness of Newark, the gridness of Newark, nobody can leave me alone. I don't chew nothing 100 times, I eat just like I'm a shark. Much as I crave cake, I prefer raw steak. Yes, I am the gridness of Newark. The gridness of Newark, the gridness of Newark, I am what I am, don't you see? The gridness of Newark, the gridness of Newark, everybody wants to be me. Jump down, turn around, pick a bail, if that's how you get your high marks. But jumping's for fools who stutter and drool. Listen up, I'm the gridness of Newark. Thank you.
Oh, he's going to leave the stage. That wasn't loud enough. Please give it up one more time for Mr. Charlie Newman. He gets a phone call right when he's finishing his show. He's like, sorry, gotta go. Scary, got my
No, he answers it, yes, I'm the gridness of New York.
Yes, gridness of Newark. So please, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, because this lady just decided, because she is stuck with work, I'm sure, showed up really, really late, Robin Fine. She's going to be our feature in 2 weeks. Yeah, on August 15th. Yeah, so I want everybody to be here for that. And guess what? Mr. Bob Lawrence. This is a 3-Wednesday month in August. Mr. Bob Lawrence, our feature on August 29th. Awesome, awesome, awesome. September, and I want every one of you to be able to check out the schedule at chaoticarts.org/thecafe. You can also find about YouTube clips for the video for the open mic as well as the feature, and we're going to have podcasts for them both as well. And I thank you all so